G'day and welcome to the Hypto Cryptocurrency Report with me, David Hunt from profithunters.com.au. It's now 10 a.m. on Tuesday, the 9th of January. And remember, this is not all advice. It is a look at cryptocurrencies which have unusual risks and unusually high risks, as well as the potential for reward. So this is a disclaimer and warning to the extent that it's covered underneath the licensing. The general advice only, a corporate authorised representative AR 289519 of Alpha Securities. And some parts of this is not advice and is general advice and does not constitute financial product advice. And remember, trading is risky, investing is risky. So this morning, I got up and I got a question from one of my Profit Hunter Group members. My Profit Hunter Group member was Leo. And Leo had turned around and he asked me last night, Bitcoin versus the US dollar, long, short term, medium term. ST means short term, MT means medium term. Good morning, David. With the volatility overnight, could you please update your thoughts on BTC and, if possible, any other cryptos that you look interesting to you? Now, it sounds like Leo is a little bit surprised by the overnight movements. And for me, it wasn't really that much of a surprise, and it shouldn't really have been for Leo a surprise, because quite frankly, we were talking about it being in a triangle and Bitcoin being in a triangle, and triangles have certain consequences. And I've been talking about this for about a week and a half now. Ever since the new year, I was saying we could expect a rally up to about 17,000 to 18,000 and then a bit of churning. And the implications I talked about in the forecast that I did on Thursday night. So I'll refer you back to the forecast there, Leo, for this one. So let's have a look at the charts and see what's been going on Bitcoin-wise. And this is a longer-term chart on Bitcoin that I keep. It goes back, probably not enough data, but it goes back into 2016. And you can see basically the trend has been up, and we'll have a look at probably a better one right now, which is here. And this is Bitcoin. You can see quite clearly that triangle that it's living in. And these are the lines that I drew in the other day. I said it could probably come back down to about 15,000 or so, with a possibility of 13,300. So we've seen it fall on reasonably high volume. And in my opinion, right now, what we are seeing, is actually a bit of lethargy in the crypto market. We've seen the big decline. We've seen the really big run up. We've seen the big decline. And now we're seeing churning price action as the early adopters have started to come in, and the innovators are starting to sell out into those people. And now mainstream is thinking about getting into Bitcoin. They're not doing it in large, but across the board, we've also seen one of the startling runs of Ripple moving very strongly, and it's been hit. It's been really hit hard. Now, it got to within 1 cent of my higher target area and has been knocked down. Now, if you're talking about volatility, this volatility is not new. It's not new to Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin itself has been quite dull. Ripple has had a huge run while Bitcoin sat there and looked at it. So this is Bitcoin's been going sideways while Ripple has been going there. So Ripple has seen some volatility, but when you look at percentage returns, it's not volatile at all. So if we look at, for example, Bitcoin Cash versus BTC, it's really been trading between 13 and 20.23 parts per Bitcoin, not really volatile at all. So in terms of volatility, we're seeing the whole complex at the moment coming off. We're seeing Bitcoin get a little bit stronger versus Ethereum and versus Bitcoin Cash and its alternatives. We're also seeing Ethereum continue to be reasonably strong. So at the moment, Ethereum is one of the ones where I don't mind parking some money. Litecoin has had a bit of a hit. And I've parked a bit of money in Ethereum, not a lot, but some. Monero also holding fairly strong. Neo also holding sideways. So the whole complex is in a confused pattern, and it doesn't show volatility to me. If we look at the Bitcoin futures, we can see the Bitcoin futures started off their life very high up, basically on the highs back in around about the date here was the 19th of December. It got smacked down. It had a retest of that low recently. It's dropped out of bed a bit. And this is normal behavior in a triangle. Nothing particularly to worry about. And it confirms what I've been saying previously. So we can also have a look at what it means in terms of Aussie dollars. Now, the Aussie dollar here, when we look at the Bitcoin price versus Aussie dollar, which Leo is in Australia, in Brisbane, I believe. And what we see here is we see quite good volume on the upside, and it's got as high as 24,000. The previous high was somewhere around about 26,000. So this is a retest. We're seeing a bit of volume selling coming in, but nothing too really terrible. When you look at this, you also notice that you'll also notice over here that it managed to hold above this old high here. It snuck down into there just below 22,000, but largely still holding support. So at the moment, I can't see anything to panic about. So let's look quickly before I do my conclusions. We'll have a squiz at the where are we? The current coin market cap, and you can see Ethereum has taken over. Now, what happened was Ripple lost a lot of it because they dropped off the Korean exchanges from CoinMarketCap. I'm not sure why they would do that. The Korean exchanges are not dead. We saw Cardinal has picked up. Now, the top 10, we've seen Tron come in. That's been heavily manipulated, heavily pumped. Dash has fallen quite heavily over the last 7 days. And Neo kind of flattening out. Monero, been a bit wild, had a big move up, and it's pulled back strongly. EOS has come back down a fair bit, but not from where I look at it, $9.80. Now, it's important to remember CoinMarketCap is often not that real in terms of prices. Let's have a look at where EOS is. It's not always the best guide to have a look at prices there. So EOS trading at currently trading in Bitfinex. Notice up here you can see Bitfinex. That's the price there. Now, for a lot of people who've been asking me questions, and Profit Owner Group members have said that they would like to do a private webinar with me and teaching you where the actual nuts and bolts of how to trade on exchanges and which exchanges to trade through, and so that you don't pay extra fees, and the best way of doing things in crypto, and some trading knowledge and how to get in, how to get out. If you want that, email me at david@profithunters.com.au, and we'll do that on one Saturday morning Australian time, which is evening time in the US. It'll last for 4 hours, and you'll pick up a good bit of information from there. So EOS is not as bad as it would seem when we look at CoinMarketCap, if my numbers are correct. 980, yeah. So not quite as bad. Bitcoin, gold. Now, a lot of these stocks, we run down the list. You can see EOS is down in a bit of a buying zone. Monero's down in a bit of a buying zone. Railbox is a bit of a buying zone. If you need those emails, just ask. If you need those stop losses, just ask me via the Profit Hunters website in the question box for the cryptocurrencies. ARDA was of interest previously for some people. They were asking about that. It's now kind of trying to find a bit of a bottom. A lot of these are in neutral and in corrective patterns. This is fairly normal at the moment. So over here, Factum, interesting. Strong is wax, and that's probably whatever that does, maybe makes surfboard wax. I've got no idea. Next, NXT is in a bit of a weak position. And we can see here, generally across the board, there are a few ICOs that are in strong positions. Most of them are not at the moment and need a bit more information. So here's my conclusion. We see Bitcoin getting down to 14,600. This is normal behavior within the triangle. This is really important to remember. So the price moves overnight shouldn't be surprising. They are not as volatile as you think. Bitcoin's in a triangle, just as I forecast, and the implications for that are important. Bitcoin reached the target area that I suggested between 17,000 and 18,000 early in the new year and has been working to the triangle since. The dip did happen, as I forecast in the crypto report on Friday, and we've seen some. If you want to have a look at those and look at the longer term consequences, this is just a short brief. Have a look at full cryptocurrency report for Monday and Friday of last week and early last week as well. Look for longer term analysis in the forecast I did on Thursday night. That's available under the forecast for 2018 link and at profithunters.com.au. I'm David Hunt. Have a great day trading, or have a great night trading wherever you are, and enjoy yourself out there. Be careful, keep your stop losses on, and if you need some stop losses, let me know and I'm happy to provide those. Cheers.